name is Chris from ChristopherHall.com. Welcome to part 2, where we're going to be looking at some of the common causes of herniated discs. Now, if we watched the first part of the video, we will already be familiar with these two pictures. If you didn't and you're coming straight into part 2, basically we have a normal disc here and we have a herniated disc here. And the herniated disc is where the gelatinous fluid has been pushed through onto the nerve of the spine. If you want to find out more, please sort of go back to video 1, where you can obviously, well, we'll go into more depth on it and you'll have a greater understanding of maybe what I'm about to talk about. If you understand what a herniated disc is and sort of some of the ways that it comes about, then by all means just stick with this video and we'll continue on. So what I want to draw your attention to is this picture on the right hand side. Now, what this picture is demonstrating is, obviously, we've got a little graph here. We've got time across the bottom. We've got load across the top. Now, that's the load on the muscle, or you could say the pressure on the muscle. Now, what we've got here, this is our spine, and this is our sort of failure tolerance of our disc, okay, or our back, or our spine, whatever you want to call it. But these ones here are the load on the muscle. So what's happening here is with, say, a consistent repetitive load. So the easiest example I can use is sit-ups. So if, for instance, you've got someone exercising, so if they do a sit-up, so obviously they raise their body up, puts pressure on the muscles, put their body down, it takes away the pressure. Do it again, back down, do it again, back down, do it again, back down. Okay, so hopefully you get the trend. Now, that's just one example. This could be constant bending over. So it doesn't mean, you know, sit-ups are the only cause. They are one cause because they are putting a lot of pressure on the muscles of the spine. They are fatiguing them and putting a lot of load on the spine. So it could be constant bending over. It could be constant bending forward, whatever it might be, but it's repeated bending of the spine is, I guess you could say, the common trend there. So we've got sort of continual repetitive bending of the spine. Then we've got our failure tolerance of our spine. So up here, obviously, we've got a margin of safety, which is great. So we've got a great margin of safety. As we do more bending of the spine, the margin of safety comes down, and the failure tolerance also comes down. And then basically, over time, if we repeat or repeatedly bend our spine, we are going to get a failure. So the repeated bending of the spine under load, which is this one here, basically puts pressure on the disc, which is what we talk about. That 100 units of pressure that we talked about in the first video is concentrating all that pressure through one part of the vertebrae with that constant bending. I could use the example of if I was to hold an apple pip or an orange pip or a pip from a piece of fruit. If I held it between my two fingers, I push down on the front, it's going to pop out the back. It's the same sort of thing here. If I put pressure on the front of my disc by squeezing it down, the gelatinous fluid is going to push out the back and push against the back wall, let's say, and push out the back. So what we are looking to do is minimize the amount of repetitive bending that we can do by maintaining what is known as a neutral posture of the lumbar part of the spine. And what this will do, this will help distribute the pressure evenly, which is what we talked about in the first video. So number 1 is repetitive bending, which is the repetitive bending here. Number 2, as we repeat our bending, our failure tolerance and margin for safety is decreased. Okay? Eventually, when we repeatedly bend over time with too much load on our back will fail and our disc will herniate. That is the one of the main causes for disc herniation. Now, in the final video, what we're going to look at is how we can use our back in everyday life and in exercise without the what's the word? without the hindrance of an injury. So we're gonna look at how we can exercise and how we can go through our everyday life and keep our back from breaking, let's say. Okay, so many thanks for watching. I will speak to you in the third video.